It's honestly coming to the point that I feel bad for Marvel Studios and Disney. Not really, of course, they kind of deserve this downfall with the way they've been treating the franchise, but they've had so many L's so consistently recently that it almost feels like they're doing it on purpose. However, there's been a recent development within Marvel Studios, and more specifically the actors within Marvel Studios, that is completely out of their control, but is going to absolutely devastate the franchise they've been trying to set up recently. And it all revolves around Kang, or more specifically, Kang's actor, Jonathan Majors, who has gotten into a lot of trouble lately for a reason that I actually didn't fully remember. You might know this, though. You guys remember earlier this year, though, around March, when Jonathan Majors got in trouble for what was alleged as domestic abuse with his partner. And everyone went crazy about it for a minute. Everyone's like, Marvel's cooked, the game's over for them, and then it went away. It just vanished. But very recently, things have popped back out of the woodwork. See, I initially thought the big mouse came forward and swept all of it under the rug to make sure that they wouldn't damage their precious Marvel entity, just so they could keep cranking out money through their slot machine they've been putting out lately. But it actually seems like they were waiting until a jury could get put together to deal with this case themselves, which happened on December 4th, when they brought forward Jonathan Majors and his girlfriend, Grace Jabari, for a hearing for the entire situation. And boy, hearing this entire thing laid out in front of us sounds absolutely insane. See, initially, where things got split is people tried to argue that either Grace Jabari assaulted Jonathan Majors or Jonathan Majors assaulted Grace Jabari. The court is technically still out on that. There is no solid 100% evidence, but after hearing the stories that have been said in court, it's really leaning in Jonathan's non-favor. That's not the correct way to word that, but pretend that made sense there. Jonathan looks a little sus here. He's looking a little bit like an imposter Among Us. I'm so tired of making goddamn Among Us references in my videos. But anyways, weird, unfortunate spaceman game aside, let's get into the nitty-gritty of things. No, not that kind of gritty, not that kind of gritty. So, the court case itself happened on December 4th, and Grace Jabari and Jonathan Majors came into the courtroom, and Grace Jabari gave her hearing on the entire situation, explaining her side of the story, but Jonathan Majors actually said nothing at all. In fact, the article that I had read said that when he had received his verdict of assault and harassment, his reaction was to raise his brow and crinkle his forehead before leaving the courtroom. And that is the saddest way to take an L I've ever seen in my life. But regardless, let me explain Grace's side of the story. What she said was, when they were in the car, because by the way, this assault happened in a car. I don't know how mad you have to be to physically assault someone in a car to the point that you fracture their finger. But regardless of that, what happened was she was in the car and she saw on Jonathan's phone that he had received a text from a random number that she didn't know about that said, "I miss you and wish you could kiss me," or something like that. Some various flirtatious message about kissing. I know kissing was in there somewhere. And she grabbed his phone from him. You know, justifiably, you think your partner's cheating on you, you're going to want to learn more. Although, it's kind of weird to grab someone's phone. I know there's that whole privacy issue. But what happened after that was Jonathan Majors' immediate reaction, which was pulling her finger, which ended up fracturing it, grabbing her and restraining her by putting her arm behind her, and apparently smacking her across the head so hard, her ear started bleeding. Regardless of if he's a bad guy or not, her finger was fractured and her ear was bleeding after the fact. I don't know if it was her attacking him first. There is that whole idea that Jonathan Majors' lawyers are putting forward that she was lying. However, there is that whole idea that this is the Big Mouse's lawyer, so oh my god, I'm choking on my own spit. There is the whole idea that this is the Big Mouse's lawyer, so there is a level of possible corruption, but still, there is the possibility Jonathan isn't actually in the wrong, but still, his girlfriend was physically damaged, so something went wrong in that car. And honestly, even if he isn't a physically abusive boyfriend, there have been a lot of releases that have come out that don't make him look like a great boyfriend, period. There have actually been some text conversations that I've found, because of course, when you come to the Savarino channel, you're coming for some real nitty-gritty news. I'm not doing it again. You want the real in-depth stuff, and I actually found some screenshots of text conversations between him and Grace that make him look, if not abusive, a very emotionally unstable individual. And I want to read some of them for you, so I'm going to pull up this screenshot that I had in the article that I had read that goes, Jonathan is the gray text bubble, she's the blue text bubble. So, So it's just fake, and you and I have to fear. Oh my god, I'm really sorry. I'm unironically extremely dyslexic, so let's give that a second try. It's just fake, and I fear you have. Oh my god, he's actually. Never mind, he didn't type that correctly. No perspective of what could happen if you go to the hospital. They'll ask questions, and as I don't think you actually protect us, it could lead to an investigation, even if you do lie and they suspect something. That sounds weird. It sounds like he's trying to cover up that she has a physical injury, which is strange. Said, I will go tell the doctor I bumped my head. If I go, I will give it one more day, but I can't sleep and I need some stronger painkillers. That's all. Why would I want to tell them what really happened when it's clear I want to be with you? That sounds like they're covering up physical abuse. But anyway, I feel like you want to be together as in not to embarrass yourself for everything you've said to your friends and family. Last night I've considered game ending myself versus coming home. You said you needed some love last night, and I put my feelings aside and tried to give you that. I need love too. Or maybe I'm such a monster and a horrible man and I don't deserve it and I should game end myself. This way of existence is miserable. I want to... Hold on, let me find it again. Sorry, dyslexia. I want to die. Oh, okay. Never mind. That was the end of that message. And then we have this huge block of redacted text which says, I'll not go to the doctor if you don't feel safe with me doing so or don't trust me to. I promise I would never mention you, but I understand your fear. And he said, like, with a weird poem response, you can't reject love if there is no real love. It's just lip service. I gave you love last night and this morning before I got out of bed. And when you got up, you were not full of love at all. I didn't feel it at all. You could have just given me a hug or walked close to me or asked me if you could give me a hug. Oh my, he said hug so many times. Not the other way around. It works both ways. I will probably mill myself. Goodness, Jonathan. It's not really contemplating anymore. ... And then she responds with, Jonathan, you can't say this. I'm going to have to call someone. I'm sorry for not hugging you this morning. I really am. I was sleepy and disoriented by the fact that you thought I would break your necklace. There is so much lore I'm missing. But anyways, she said, I love you so much, obviously. What do you mean you've put this in motion? You have a family, Jonathan, a mother and a daughter. What would Ella do without you? Don't do this to her. Don't even think these thoughts. And my goodness, that's a lot to unpack. It's really strange in itself that he doesn't want her to go to the hospital for what seemed like a head injury. Because if you didn't cause it, Jonathan, why are you scared? I mean, unless there's the possibility he's extremely paranoid and thinks that his girlfriend going to the hospital for an injury will immediately get associated with him. But why would that happen if he isn't actually guilty of something and maybe hasn't already damaged her previously? It's really weird to see, and that in itself makes him look a lot more guilty than he already did from the court case alone. There was also this audio recording that came out between Grace and Jonathan where they are just having a conversation, and the way that they framed this audio recording when I saw it in the article was like it was damning evidence of Jonathan being an abusive partner. But when I gave it a listen, it wasn't as bad as I had anticipated. I guess I'll play like a little snippet from it really quickly.
To support Coretta Scott King. You know who that is? That's Martin Luther King's wife. Michelle Obama. Barack Obama's wife.
I know, I'm not, I shouldn't have gone out, I'm
no,
sorry.
Let me just lay it out for you.
And to give you added context, I have it already. Essentially what happened was she went out and she had gone out with some friends and drank, and she came back a little drunk, and he is very angry at her. That is literally all that happened, but let me continue.
I'm just gonna say this. My temper, my shit, my trauma, blah, all that said, right? And let's say I'm a great man. A great man. I am doing great things, not just for me, but for my culture and for the world. That is actually the position I'm in. That's real. I'm not being a dick about it. I didn't ask for it. I've worked, and that's the situation. The woman that supports me, that I support, that needs to be a great woman and make sacrifices the way that man is making for her and for them ultimately.
And I'm going to pause it right here because he just starts repeating himself, but it doesn't feel as wrong as I thought. It seems like he's not a great partner for this girl. It seems like he's a little unstable. And there are some people online who justify it as like, oh, he just wants a strong woman by his side since he's a powerful actor. And he is a talented actor, I will admit that. But if that's the case and you don't seem like this girl that he's with is a good partner for him, why is he staying with her? Like, go find someone that you think is fit instead of abusing the person you're currently with. I feel like that's just I don't know why I'm giving a relationship advice on a court hearing video, but that was just a little takeaway I had from that. But at the end of it all, Jonathan Major's lawyers are sticking to their guns. They're saying that Grace is a dirty, stinky, smelly liar and isn't telling the truth. She's sus. She's the imposter, vote her out. Things like that. God damn it. But anyways, regardless of that, a lot of the evidence I've shown you in this video does kind of lean towards the idea that it could have been real, because while we have no physical evidence or video recordings of the actual assault going down, it is pretty evident that he is not a stable partner. And so it could lead to domestic abuse in some sort. However, I'm not going to sit here and tell you to cancel Jonathan Majors or, like, boycott Loki, because that show is goddamn amazing. Tom Hiddleston nailed his role. So did Jonathan. It's so sad that he's a possibly abusive partner. But regardless of that, this is about where the situation lies. And we're going to figure out more on February 6th when the actual sentencing goes down. There's a chance he's going to either get probation or up to a year in prison, which is unfortunate, but something that happens if you end up committing, a crime. But of course, I'm going to be hitting the road for now. So thank you guys for watching this video. Subscribe if you're new. I genuinely love and appreciate it so much. And like the video if you liked it. And if you disliked it, you can dislike it, but no one will see it because YouTube did that, and it's weird. But of course, let me know your thoughts on this entire situation, and I'm going to give you guys the song of the day, which is actually multiple songs, because I was given an artist who asked me to shout their music out, and I thought it was a harmless thing that I could do in my videos. So I was going to shout out Bullhead, and so I thought the funny song that made me laugh was Fentanyl Overdose in Mackey's on the Ramp Toilets. And Piss Bomber, sure, that's a funny name too. Check those songs out, and I'm going to be hitting the road for now. Thank you guys for being here. Of course, stick around for more. I post every single day, and as always, adios, arrivederci, goodbye, good night, and unfortunately, the mouse could not save him this time.